What on earth is that? It's a Journey into Comics Network production!
Tell me something, my friend. You ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? What? I always ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it.
Brought to you by the power of the Journey into Comics Network. This is the Journey into Comics podcast, the show that's 100% dedicated to everything nerd. With your hosts, the Podfather, Nate Phillips, the Podmaster, Brandon Stone, and the Journey into Comics Network stepdad, Tyler McLaughlin.
Time to make the chimichangas.
30 seconds.
Hey,
Excellent!
Finally.
What did you do?
And here we go.
Can somebody tell me what kind of a world we live in where a man dressed up as a bat gets all of my press? This town needs an enema.
what's up, true believers? Welcome back to another episode of Journey into Comics. This is Journey into Comics 335. My hands are going all crazy today. I am your host, the Podfather Nate. Today, again, joining me once again, as I said already, I don't know why I can't get my words out today. I guess that's how we're doing it. Welcome to the show, the Podmaster, the one and only videographer of the Journey into Comics Network and all things that are groovy looking. Welcome back yet again, Brando.
Well, once again, it's good to be here with you. And once again, today we're talking about comic-related stuff. And once again, WandaVision. And once again, episode 35. Title, once again, ... No, Nate, it's good to be here today on Valentine's Day. Nate, thank you for being my Valentine today, spending some good time with you. Here's
My bromosexual.
a swig of wild cherry, not Pepsi.
And together we make wild cherry Pepsi.
Almost, yeah. Dude, this stuff almost tastes like wild cherry Pepsi. It's pretty crazy. It's not like, obviously it's missing the cola part. But
It's tonic water?
yeah, it's that Walmart brand, the Clear American type deal. And
That's a hell of a brand title. We're Walmart. Here's Clear American. Wow,
dude,
bro.
okay, so I've been trying to cut back on my soda intake big time, and it's not easy. I'm not winning, but I'm doing better. So like the more that I'm home, the less that I drink it. And typically like I need some caffeine like in the morning to kind of, one of those things like first thing in the morning, like, okay, shit, I'm up, let's get moving. And so I have that, but then when I'm home, it's like, all right, no more of that crap. I'm home, I'm drinking water, and this is technically water.
Technically water.
Technically, no, the first ingredient is carbonated water. So therefore, it is water, but it's got...
It is in fact defined as water, the largest ingredient.
One of my favorite flavors, natural flavor. It's got great natural flavor.
Man, that natural flavor of natural flavoring.
But then it's got citric acid, malic acid, potassium benzoate, and then my favorite of what this is why it's no sugar, aspartame.
Ooh,
gotta tame that ass.
Oh yeah.
But no, even this, I want to get off of this too. Like I want to get to where I'm drinking less sugar substitutes. Even
It's stamina in the bedroom, right? That's what's got you deciding to cut back on the pop.
No, like I've got pretty good stamina.
I more meant like maybe it's just I feel. Listen, okay, so I didn't realize I lost a fuck ton of weight.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like I lost like over 25 pounds. And big life changes will do that to you and shit like that. But like, what I didn't do is get rid of my stomach. So sometimes when action is happening, I get winded. Like, not that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna finish in 45 seconds or some weird jazz, but it's more like
I'm tired.
If we're gonna go, I'm exhausted, and I think I'm gonna have a heart attack like 5 minutes in, and I'm like, okay, what is going on? Why do I have to go take a break to have a submarine sandwich and a Pepsi Cola? You know, like what is going on here? So that's when I kind of thought, like, and of course I say that as I'm drinking Pepsi today, but I have been trying to be better about it. I will say, as opposed to you, when I'm home, I drink more pop. At work, we don't have any kind of pop cooler or anything, so all I have access to is our nice water thing, and I use it all the time. So I am drinking water a lot at work, but when I'm home, I definitely go to Chug Town.
Due to COVID and everything going on, we don't have water fountains anymore. We do have an ice machine that you can get water out of, but that's all the way downstairs, and I don't like to do that. So what I've been doing is I've been taking every day one soda-like beverage, whether it's a regular soda or like a Monster or a Rockstar or something like that, something to kind of punch me. And see, the thing is, when I drink an energy drink, I nurse that baby. I'm like suckling on that energy teat for like 2-3 hours. I knew that'd pop you. I knew that'd pop you. But no, other than that, I just bring like a bottle of
Suckling on the energy teat might be this episode title, even though it's going to have nothing to do with what we're actually talking. But maybe it will. Maybe somehow it will. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we weave this thread.
Maybe we just put that in a hat for another day. Anyway, no. No, other than that, I just drink water and try not to give in to temptation of, man, I could use a soda or something like that.
Why did I just get like the suckling on the energy teat just made me think of like a cow that's like just a normal cow but has a tattoo of the Monster logo on one teat, and that's where Monster exclusively flows.
What's the name of the cow? Like Kyle, right? But it's like Cowl.
What?
Kyle, the stereotypical name of the dude that drinks Monster punches through drywall, so it's a cow. Okay, no, bad dad joke. No, today I tried for the first time. They just put them out, the Coca-Cola coffee.
Oh man, I'm so glad you're bringing this up because I am pissed and it grinds my gears.
Like it grinds your coffee.
Yes, yes, just like it grinds my damn coffee. I need to take you back to. Well, how about this? Drax's days, as it were. We're in the band, early going. I'm working at McDonald's. I'm 15. I'm 15-year-old me. I grab a hot cup of coffee that's only half full, and I don't want to drink hot coffee, and we don't have any decent flavored anything there, but just old people fucking half and half. And I'm like, I'm not drinking fucking half and half. So I went to the true story. Went to the fountain machine. And I put Coke in my coffee and drank it. We called it Black Coke. It was amazing. And I always said, man, why don't they just make this? It'd be great. It'd be the bee's knees. Spoiler alert, if you tried Dark Blend, did you try the Dark Blend?
Okay, so, no. They were first released Coca-Cola Black in the early 2000s, early mid-2000s. And it was a coffee-based Coke. And yes, I did get the Dark Blend. Because that was the only one that they had, and I did try it. Did it taste just like it?
It did. That's exactly how mine tasted when I made it at McDonald's. It was I almost threw a fit, dude. I'm driving to work. I took a sip, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is my drink, bro. It tastes the same. How do they do it?
All right, so I actually didn't like it that much, and it wasn't the flavor, more so as if some drinks and beverages shouldn't just not be carbonated. And I don't think coffee is that for me. I felt like there was the coffee taste, but it was too sharp. So number one, when I drink coffee, I'm expecting bitterness because that's coffee. And as you get older, I don't know if we just get older and bitter ourselves, but it becomes easier for us to drink those bitter drinks like beer or coffee or whatever. Whatever drinks. It just seems like as you get older, you get more of a taste for it, and all your kids
our
think,
soul's decaying and we're losing our care for taste.
Yeah.
We're just existing in this plane of like, give me energy and allow me to get through this fucking day without doing something stupid.
Yeah, so I tried it, and it was I like carbonation, and I like that snap. That's why I'm drinking carbonated water. That's why We're thinking of like to get off of these and the other stuff. Like we're thinking of different ways that we can do it and still have carbon. Like I need some of that. It just needs to be like, I don't know, a little bite. But the coffee was too much, and it, like I sat there with the 12-ounce can going, I have to finish this. Now some drinks weren't that bad, but like so if I took a big drink and it went down really fast, it wasn't that bad. The longer that it stayed in mold, if I took a sip, no. So
here was my thing about it. I loved it. I thought it tasted just like the creation I had made at McDonald's all those years ago.
Was it exact?
I mean, dude, nearly exact. I would say the only difference is it didn't have the more of the hot bite, because that was the difference. You're mixing hot coffee with cold Coke.
Okay. Which
creates a really unique, because you're kind of cooling the coffee, but there's still those notes of the heat in there. So you get some chocolate kind of coming through. It's really, man.
So what would you rank it?
Oh, I like this. As we do a little rank here, I would give their version of my creation an 8.74.
All right. I don't think it scores quite that high for me. I don't think that I'll buy it again.
Okay.
I
want to try the caramel.
Maybe that could be. I don't want to try the dark blend again, like the carbonation. So I'm not even sure if it cracks a 5 for me. Maybe it's a 4.92.
Ooh, I like that rating, Brando. Real quick though, I will say that I'm going to adjust my rating based on one thing I did not discuss. There was some downside to the coffee Coke deliciousness. It gave me some of the worst gurgle guts I have ever had, bro. I mean, breaking out in cold sweat gurgle guts. And I was like, oh, well, the only thing I've had this morning is this fucking Coke with coffee. So, oh, God, I might need to run to the work bathroom that's out of order right now.
Blow it up.
But, Brando, we were talking about ranking that Coke. It just got me thinking, man. I feel like in this universe, if there was only a show where we ranked music that we liked, and told people what we thought about, not just like blanket statement, this album is good, but like every song. And what if we ranked them all?
I know. It would be pretty neat if such a show like that did exist.
I think that maybe, and this is just me now, if you were to go into the Matrix and type in rankemeall.rocks on your computation station, you would probably end up at a place that does exactly that, where a group of 4 awesome, nerdy, cool, well-looking, throw great more descriptors out there, dudes are reviewing music. And that's what Rank 'Em All is, Brando.
Absolutely. So what we do is we just take some of our favorite bands or artists and go down their entire discography, rank all the songs, give us our album ranks. We have launched the show at the very end of January. We are starting with one of our favorite bands, Metallica, and we are going to go right down their discography. We already have a bunch of other stuff lined up for the rest of the year. This is absolutely crazy. We have like a lot of big plans, a lot of great feedback from all of you guys too that have listened to the episodes and given us what you thought of it, and of course all the great Facebook likes. That has been one of the fastest growing things that we have started as a part of the Journey to Comics Network. And all of us, from myself to Nate, to Nick Maxon, and to Dick Tyner, all of us that were involved and are still involved going forward, we're all just completely psyched about this project. It cannot wait to to move forward. Where the Master of Puppets album just came out. We have a couple other really big iconic records from Metallica to hit before we wrap that up. And this is going to be a musical journey. If you guys are into music, into rock and roll or heavy metal or anything else, there's going to be a lot of different things for everybody going along our journey. But what I like about it, Nate, is that it allows you to rediscover some of the stuff that you did know. Listen to full albums, which some people don't do. They just listen to the radio or listen to the hits. But also discovering new bands that they might have not actually listened before. And that's something that we're going to be looking at going forward too with Rank 'Em All.
Well, and I think it does give people an opportunity to, and with Metallica, it's one thing you and I and Dick and Nick really love that band, so we have a lot to talk about, a lot to gush on, interesting stories and whatnot. But as we continue through, we're going to be finding artists and listening to songs we've never heard and experiencing this for the first time, like some of the audience who we want to get in on this stuff. So, just to quickly break away from the show and to have our little advertisement here, it is cool. I'm really glad that we're doing this show. The feedback has been amazing, and I do encourage you folks to check it out.
Yeah, it's on all those cool podcasting platforms where you find this show, as well as rankemall.rocks, as well as also YouTube. There's a cool YouTube video of us. You get to see one of my favorite things, Nate. You get to see, and Blaine actually threw this out there, we need to do a compilation of every time Nick gets like exasperated and just kind of like has a reaction of sorts. Mostly to Dick, but
which is a part of the drinking game. If you see Nick get exasperated on account of Dick, you got to be taking a drink, which means you're going to be pretty drunk at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, please go check that show out. We're really proud of it, and we think you'll really enjoy it. And, yeah, you'll definitely be glad that you subscribed over onto that show. A lot of cool stuff coming down the line. But, Nate, this week, we got the Malcolm in the Middle episode.
Woo!
For WandaVision. And I got to say, right out of the gate, I love the aesthetic of the show. They nailed it. The moment that we got to it, I was like, because at first, when you saw like the clips or stuff, you thought that maybe the Halloween episode was going to be in the 80s because it kind of looked very 80s-ish. But then they hit it in and they nailed the formula or just the motif of Malcolm in the Middle with the kids talking directly to the camera. And man, really, really cool. I love that grungy episode. The only thing that really was a disappointment for me is that Elizabeth Olsen, who is like a really beautiful woman, did not answer the door topless. And just saying, if you ever watch Malcolm in the Middle, I think it's the first episode, their mom answers the door completely not wearing a shirt, and they're like, what? Just what? What? They're tits. What do you need? What do you want? I'm doing laundry here.
She's like, I'm busy. This episode was stellar, Brando. There's a lot to dive into. I have a lot of theories, a lot to discuss. So many things that they pulled off, stuff we never expected, the bigger picture, the question of what's coming. I don't even know where to start. Like, there was a lot. Obviously, here's one of the first biggest things we got, and it immediately popped me. I don't know if it popped you. In the goddamn recap, we got to see proper Aaron Taylor Johnson's Pietro killed. Like, re-referenced, like, here, this is what you need to focus on. Don't forget this moment. It's very important later on in this episode and what's going to tie back around. But, so that was like a huge, like, oh my God moment thing. Obviously, the Malcolm in the Middle aesthetic of this episode was great. You had Wanda and Vision and the kids all kind of in their own separate stories. Vision's on his own quest. He does kind of lie, which is unlike him, but he is trying to solve this mystery, and he's Sherlock Holmesing the best that his little robot brain can. And while he's Sherlock Holmesing, you've got Wanda and Pietro taking Speed and Wiccan. We're just going to call them Speed and Wiccan instead of Tommy and Billy, because they didn't even wait. They did not say, hey, like 6 episodes down, we might consider their origin to give them nope. Here they are. The kids have the speed. The kids have the fucking. I was stunned. This episode stunned me. There were too many good things as a comic book fan. The comic accurate costumes, like, I don't even know, Brando. What did you think?
No, I absolutely loved it. As I said I love that late 90s Malcolm in the Middle motif. But then I really did like all the stuff with the kids. The fact that so is he officially called Pietro in this? Okay, so because obviously in the other movies he's in, he's called Peter. So,
correct.
So the new Pietro, he he's kind of like the older brother, Malcolm in the Middle character, always getting his stuff into trouble. I'll look after him, and then getting into hijinks. So you got that going on. I really liked how on the outside world they are discovering that the guy in charge, what's his name?
The guy in charge.
Yeah.
The director of Sword.
Director of Sword. He seems
Agent Howard, I think.
He seems to know more than what he's letting on. Yeah, he seems to know more than what he's letting on. And he's been keeping tabs of people, and then they're able to see that there's several people just standing still. Just not being used. They're NPCs.
Yeah, and then that was a moment that was startling as fuck. Vision is like walking in through the deep, deep parts of town, getting closer to Ellis Avenue, which we heard the kids say, or she tells them, don't go past Ellis Avenue. We know, Mom. We know. We're not going to go past your imaginary border. We get it. But obviously Vision doesn't know that. And as he's walking, he just stops and looks at this woman who's going to hang laundry, and she's just like mid pose, frozen, and he sees this tear.
She keeps trying to hang the laundry, but she keeps missing, and it's like she's in a loop, and she can't stop. Yeah.
But this then kind of confirmed something I had said way back. I mean, it's a little bit different because obviously Wanda is giving people who already exist new identities and causing them to just be like what people see the world as, because what happens when you walk through a place in a town? You're not going to remember the random lady hanging her clothes, but what if she never actually got to hang those clothes and was always in that loop? Then you'd pay attention. It's something you miss. But Wanda has this incredible power to fully, genuinely shift reality around her on an epically grand scale. Now, let's talk a little bit about something quickly, because we got one of the most unique commercials of WandaVision. The first time we didn't get live action actors, and the first time that this something did not directly, at least to the naked eye, directly seem like it had anything to do with anything. However, what does this shark commercial scream to you, Brandon? What was the first thing you thought?
I thought of Chef Boyardee.
Okay, Chef Boyardee's cool. My first thought was, look at this. Kid in need on an island, crying for help. So let's flip a couple words. Wanda, all alone, crying for help, and someone comes and rescues her and offers her, or the kid in the island, an opportunity to right these wrongs. Here, this is what you need to survive. Take it. But as we see in the commercial, the kid can't open it. He withers away and dies. Okay? Wanda, using her powers right now, is eroding her powers, and she doesn't realize it. The more she extrains those, something, and I think I've mentioned Mephisto before, it could also possibly be Nightmare that we're talking about here, is taking that energy from her. So one thing I noticed, Brando, and this was a little tiny, but little dude was said twice in the episode. Once by the shark and once by Pietro.
Yep.
Leading me back to, I think Pietro is Nightmare on the inside of Wanda's world, kind of keeping tabs now to make sure that things are going how they need them to go, and reassuring her that this is the world she wants and she can have it. While on the outside, director Hayward or Howard or whatever the F his name is actually Mephisto and is the ringleader of this circus, and things are getting a lot crazier than we know. That's kind of my take.
Interesting.
Also, the shark would be the soul stone if we're keeping tabs on possibly having each of the commercials represent one of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that when the kid withered away and was left without a soul. But no, that was a really neat commercial. Again, taking advantage of the type of style for the time period. You know, that was very 90s.
It's like they put themselves in a box to create such a unique piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we can only, when we're going to do these episodes, when we do episode 1, we have to focus on this decade. Episode 2's in this, and so on. Which leads me to my next thing. Brando, the aughts is next, bud.
Yep.
What are we going to get for the aughts? Because I don't think we've seen anything that represents reality television on a think Park and Rec, Office, 30 Rock type vibe.
So
the
from
early aughts was
not the early aughts, but the more recent stuff that I think that they're going to be doing. I think I heard Modern Family is something that they're going to do, and we already I saw a clip of that with Wanda sitting on the chair talking to the camera, like so that's a thing. But I don't know what episode we're going to get it. But also the last 3 episodes are like almost an hour long.
wow.
So yeah, we are now over the hump, and we're getting into the real climax of this story. And I tell you what, the only bad part about it is that it's going to end, and it's going to leave us wanting more, and we have to wait a whole year to get to Spider-Man.
Resolution,
Yeah, because the Falcon Winter Soldier show is probably not going to be directly involved with this at all. Even if they even mention it, it could be its own little pocket of thing that like you may not see anything from it at all. Maybe it takes place after or away from it, you know, just like Spider-Man Far From Home, how that takes place 8 months after Endgame, and this story right here of WandaVision takes place a few weeks, like within not even a month removed from Endgame. So it's going to be interesting to see how the effects of the ending of this series does affect going into other things, even if we get to see any effects of that at all.
Oh, yes. I think that it could be possible that with Falcon and Winter Soldier, there is a brief mention of like the situation, maybe a mention of Sword, not necessarily a direct tie, but just letting you know, like, hey, this universe is definitely super interconnected, bro. Like, don't forget it. Obviously, we're not gonna. But I want to take it back again to the next episode. Episode, what is it, 7?
Yeah.
Episode 7, I feel like we know very little about these last 3, 7, 8, and 9, right? I want to take a look at the bigger picture of the episodes that we have so far, what we've heard, and then look at what seems to be the case, okay? And Monica is the clue to what I think episode 7 is actually going to be. And it's going to turn the whole game upside down. And I don't know if you heard it here first. This is just a late night as I was going to sleep. I had this crazy thought. So Monica Rambeau has an aerophysicist, an aerospace scientist, whatever it is, who she knows that she wants to bring in to help solve this problem. First person I thought was Reed Richards.
Yeah.
So then she calls and says, my guy's on the way, coming. Reed Richards possibly coming. Then she says, he's almost here. I got to meet him over the bridge. He's got this thing that's going to help us get through to the other side. Still coming. And now we're at this point where we're in the early aughts. So 2000s-ish, early 2000s-ish. And we have a lot of interesting X factors that just happen to line up. We know for a fact John Krasinski has had a meeting about a multitude of projects with Marvel. Those were the exact words in the descriptor. Multitude of projects. We also know The Office is set in the early aughts. We know John Krasinski was a part of that series and was really a really integral part to why that series was so good. What if John Krasinski, as predicted and hoped for by fans, and even John Krasinski himself saying he wanted it, in the next episode is an Office-style episode of his journey figuring out what Monica's dealing with as an Office-style thing, and it's our introduction to Reed Richards.
You mean what if he gets sucked into it and gets casted?
No, I'm saying maybe he could get cast, but he's already outside the bubble, so they could tell it as a, just like a, hey, we're doing like a documentary style, Office style thing about you. He's already been in that world and knows how to act around that style of shooting.
I just thought it would be funny if it was at Vision's work, and
that would be interesting too.
because one thing we didn't say is that Vision finds Agnes sitting right there.
Oh, we had seen this in the trailers too.
Right. So she was sitting on that road. Was it Ellis Avenue?
Yep.
And she was sitting there, and then he's like, Agnes, what are you doing? She's like, I was like, she was going to the town square. He's like, took a wrong
in the town square.
He's like, well, she's like, I took a wrong turn. And then he kind of wakes her up, just like he did to Norm or.
Yep, Norm.
And then she's like, oh my God, you're an Avenger. You're here to save us. You're Vision. He goes, yes, I am Vision. What's an Avenger? And he kind of snaps her back in, and she does a U-turn and goes back. And he keeps walking to the border and crosses through that red border that we've already seen, that Wanda's walked through, that Monica got sucked into. And he starts deteriorating. And it's like it's sucking him and pulling him back, but he's breaking apart. He's dying, essentially, or they think he is.
And he does. He falls over, just toast.
And that's when Wiccan can hear and feel Vision is dying.
God, that was such a dope fucking moment, bro. Raise the hairs on my arms.
So before we get back to that, there's another scene that we didn't really get to talk about. Pietro and Wanda have a nice little heart-to-heart where Pietro breaks the fourth wall. He understands. He knows what's going on here. That was really neat.
Yeah.
She almost doesn't know what to say about it. And like it's like she doesn't know what she's doing.
And he's like, it's okay. It's not wrong. I get it.
Yeah. Very.
And that's why, again, devil's advocate. It's not wrong, Wanda. What you're doing's fine. Keep doing it. That's just reassuring her. The devil in her ear, that's why it's got to be Pietro, the only person that she could feel reassurance from, because obviously she's felt semi-reassurance from Vision, but he's turned on her and realizes that something's amiss, not necessarily the whole truth. I don't think even he can see the bigger picture, because right now he is so focused on it being Wanda as the source and not something bigger than her.
Yeah.
And then, the kids only go so far, but she's also learned that she created them, and she actually genuinely created living beings. They are not going to not be in this world when things go back to normal, essentially, is kind of what I think they're teasing there. And that's why they said that. Oh, no, they're not. They weren't cast. These aren't somebody else's children. These are hers. They're of her own, So you had that. And then, who else can she turn to? Pietro. But then, bro, the moment she looks at Evan Peters' Pietro and he is dead and bullet ridden was amazing. It was like and that leads me back again, that Pietro's definitely Nightmare, because the reason she's seeing dead Vision, the reason she's seeing dead Pietro is to scare her back into being afraid of the real world, knowing she can take comfort in her fake world where everything is as she's controlling it, even though she doesn't realize what she's doing.
So now back to when Vision comes out of the portal, out of the fake wall, and he's being torn apart. The Sword agents knows where he is because they have a tracker on him. And so they go to where he is. And then Darcy, who was able to hack into that. That is only like the one thing here is that like Sword really doesn't have their shit together where she's hacking into their stuff. He told them to leave and get out of here. God damn it. Get it. But then she's like, I'm going to stay here and hack and do my things. And they're just there on the base, just hanging out. Like they really don't, he didn't like have them like escorted. He didn't make them.
No, they did, but Agent Wu knocked out the security, and then they switched their costumes.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the only part that makes me like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna harp on that too much. It's not a make or break, but it just made me go
You're like, suspend my disbelief. Suspend my disbelief.
right, and it's just like, okay, so it's like she just like nobody has found her. Like they didn't realize that. Hey, they never left. Like they really don't have. Anyway, she runs out.
It's not Shield, bro, or Hydra.
Yeah. So like she runs out and like he's dying or does whatever, help him. And
Why is nobody helping him? He's dying.
They handcuff her to one of the vehicles. When Wanda gets word that he has gotten out, she expands the walls.
Well, first she stops time.
First she does.
She
stop
literally
time.
goes, stop. And then her eyes start glowing, and I was like, holy shit. X-Men level powers. This is her breaking into her mutant ability, which means I don't know if directly this instance is going to be the cause, but Monica has been on a cellular level adjusted, changed, altered, because she's gone through the wall a couple times now. And that's, again, leading to her being Spectre or Photon. We'll see what direction they decide to go. But other people going through Wanda's wall could cellularly change them, creating mutants, depending on how far she expands, therefore meaning she just did the House of M, and we didn't even really, as an overall audience, no one's popping about, oh my God, she just essentially started the House of M, and we are not talking about it because we're not thinking like that, because we haven't been led to understand the amount of her power and how it can affect people when they go through that border.
That's exactly what I was going to get to. The fact that we got this neat little Easter egg of Evan Peters, coming in.
What's up, sis?
And obviously that's not the right actor. He's from the X-Men, who are mutants. But then this episode's kind of leading you to believe that he is not that version of the character. He's just the other version in another universe or whatever, playing the version here who died. So it's like kind of like interdimensional timey-wimey type deal, right?
Yeah.
But then the moment they started talking about he has your labs, you've been altered on a cellular level, I'm like, holy shit, she just created mutants. That's how they're going to create mutants. They already have supers. They already have the Avengers. They already have all these people. Now they're going to have everyday normal people having abnormalities. Imagine if she's able to push that wall across the entire world.
Well, I think that's what we're getting close to, and I feel like we're going to get a couple things. We're going to get that Reed Richards possible cameo, and that's not going to be the biggest shock.
Yeah.
I think we could also very well get a version of Spider-Man. Maybe not Tom Holland. Maybe Tom Holland. We'll see. But I think Doctor Strange is going to be who comes to the rescue in this and actually helps Wanda, but also creates his own cavalcade of problems because he's like, it's fucking Mephisto, and I've been trying to stop this bastard, and he keeps running from me, slippery little devil, you know? So I think we're setting up for the next 3 Fridays to be WandaVision is already appointment television. If you're not watching it, you're a moron. No offense to you morons who aren't watching it. But I'm just keeping it real. Get on it, guys. Start WandaVision. You're going to love it, especially if you love the MCU. This is a great... God damn it, bro. This is what I wanted those Netflix shows to be.
Mm-hmm.
On this level of interconnected and really punch and really mean like, hey, this universe exists, damn it. We're a part of it, and we take hold, and what we're doing is going to have stock. And maybe, of course, it took Wanda, who's this most powerful Avenger in reality, to actually be what changed their perspective to how they wrote. Like, oh, it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We can only do so much. Oh, it's fucking Daredevil. He can only do so much.
Well, a lot of that was the former leadership.
Also true.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but it was but it was before Feige had complete and utter control of all of that.
Ike Perlmutter.
Ike Perlmutter, thank you.
I'll never forget that dumb bastard's name.
No, Perlmutter made a lot of mistakes.
He's a real motherfucker. I live. pop Brando. That's so good.
Oh yeah. No, he wanted those shows to be lightly connected, and not have anything that they do really affect what they're doing on the big screen. Just referenced, I guess, which is why you had Agent douchebag. No, I'm kidding. I can't remember his name. That's why I call it a douchebag. And like in the first Avengers, where like when he dies.
Oh, Coulson?
Coulson. You had Agent Coulson die, and then all of a sudden he's back for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but never referenced. And
no one knows he's alive.
No one knows he's alive except for everyone that he interacts with. And somehow word never gets back to Tony Stark or Captain America that, hey, you remember Agent Coulson? Oh, yeah, shame he died. Actually, he's been alive this whole fucking time doing shit. What?
Say what? Ooh, bro, though. In this world, honestly, interesting, too, because maybe we got a tease for this already, but what was Coulson in Captain Marvel?
He was with,
Haha, he was actually a Skrull.
yeah, all right.
And we are getting a secret invasion. And maybe Coulson's death could be tied back later and have him be a great reveal for those who are still living. The living Avengers, like, what the we saw Hulk, like Banner having that moment, Thor having that moment. We may get more Cap because there is a rumor, or at least some sort of confirmation, Chris Evans is signed on to do more Captain America work, which I can't even believe is a real thing. Like, that would be a huge moment where he's revealed as like having been trapped in this ship that the Skrulls had that were doing tests on these humans, and he'd been trapped since the 90s. And, you know, the version that we watched die and the version that was even in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's why he died and then was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The reality isn't that they reprogrammed his brain and they had this whole Avengers project in case an Avenger died they used on him. No. He was a fucking Skrull. They just replaced him with another Skrull because that you could do that. Like, oh, what? That guy died. We'll just make another Skrull look like him. It's fine. Take that dude's face, bro.
So apparently they're making another Face-Off movie, like a remake or a reboot or whatever. I want to take his face off, and it made me. I've been seeing like all the posters for like Godzilla and Kong. So it's like the Face-Off. It's like Kong being like, I'd rather take his face off, and I want to swap their faces.
You should totally do that. That'd be
Oh man. Anyway, no. It just going forward into the MCU as a whole, you know, I'm not opposed to Chris Evans playing more Captain as long as it's done in taste with how that character's end. Don't change the end because it was too good. If there's other stories to be told before he settles down, then that's cool. That's awesome. As long as we don't interrupt that. Like, because there is a whole pocket where he could have done shit for like 20 years.
Well, and then there's also the question of like, and I know you've seen the rumors and stuff, but there's an older gentleman who fits the Cap description almost to a T that's seen in a couple different key moments through the MCU earlier in the whole thing. One specific moment being a pallbearer for Sharon, for Peggy Carter. And like just this bizarre old dude just sitting there, but from the back it looks exactly like Captain America's old ass. Like, what? That's not coincidence, bro. You know they don't just throw random coincidence at the wall. Everything has some sort of plot, plan, or idea. That's why they're doing it so well. And honestly, man, Feige is on fire.
Is that a reference to the Human Torch?
No, but it should have been.
Flame on.
Yes, he is flaming. Don't say that. But
maybe Chris Evans is coming back to play Human Torch.
Whoa, dude, wouldn't that be something? Because I mean, whoa. I mean, we're already getting this multiverse thing, and that, bro, does that mean they could cast Affleck as Daredevil?
Yep.
But does that then also mean Dolph Lundgren could be
Be
the
Punisher. Yes. Yes. Oh man.
But then doesn't that also mean that David Hasselhoff is going to be Nick Fury?
Yes. Yes. And the thing is that, look, I know a lot of political climate and everything going on today. If they were just to be like, here's Nick Fury and it's David Hasselhoff, people would be like, what the hell? He's Sam Jackson. Why'd they take a role away from a black guy? And I get that. But people don't know Marvel Comics history. He has been both. He's
actually started off as a white dude.
And then there was another version.
A white dude again.
Yeah.
And then there was actually a part of the universe that had both the white and the black version of Nick Fury living at the exact same damn time. So anything's possible in Marvel.
Yeah, it's possible. Freaking David Hasselhoff. I mean, dude, you have no idea if we get a movie at the end of Spider-Man Multiverse and we get a redo of Peter Parker, or it's playing the spot of Tony Stark from Iron Man 1. And instead of sitting in the shadows, it's Sam Jackson, it's David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. I would laugh and love it so much. I would be clapping so hard for that. And people would be like, what's going on? I'm like, we have Nick Fury 2.0 and David. Thank you.
Nick Fury has returned. The original Nick Fury is.
Oh my gosh.
And actually, they could technically storyline it too, because we just saw Nick Fury as a Skrull in Far From Home, and then real Nick Fury is on that base where other people could totally be, is what I'm getting back to. But then also, you could then have Hasselhoff be the real Fury, whose identity was stolen, who's been trapped by the Skrulls since before the whole shit with Carol. He's been trapped since the 80s, since when he filmed that for real. Like, you could even find a way to canonize the shit, man. Like, well, they could go deep with this.
Could go deep with it. Okay, so how cool would it be? Secret Invasion. Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury, and just the interaction. Sam Jackson be like, there's only one Fury. There's only one Fury. Even my mama called me Fury.
And your eye patch is on the wrong side.
It's on the wrong side. Anyway, no, great stuff from that, and really looking forward to it. But you mentioned Ben Affleck, and just today, the new Justice League Snyder Cut trailer, Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is coming out in like a month on HBO Max, and we got a new trailer, and I gotta say,
March is gonna be busy, bro.
I know, dude. We got Falcon Winter Soldier, which was the highest rated part of the Super Bowl, no, so we got that series coming. We got the trailer for that, which was awesome. I dug it a lot, but the trailer for Justice League, it got me hyped. It looked
like a whole different movie.
Of course, there's stuff in there that you do recognize, and a few scenes that we've seen before already released. But just a little while ago, like a week or so ago, we got the Jared Leto reveal of what he looks like.
Yeah,
and it's completely different from the Suicide Squad version, where it's more makeup and more run down, more rugged.
Time has not been kind to Joe Kerr.
Yeah, to Joe Kerr. And but no, the spot that we got in the trailer, which is from the nightmare sequence. It's like the nightmare sequence in this movie is going to be a lot longer, and it features like an apocalyptic type event where it seems like Batman and Joker have to work together because the world's ending. We can fight later, but we both kind of want to live.
Yep.
No, I dug it. I dug it a lot. And I guess they're also going to have a black and white version of the film to watch.
Yeah, Justice is Gray is the version, and it's going to be the black and white edition. Zack Snyder announced on whatever Vivo, whatever it is he's using. He uses some sort of weird service that's not like Instagram to post his videos and shit, but he's been posting all of his like teasers and stuff there, and he said that he was working on Justice is Gray, and someone said, is that the black and white version of your movie? And he said, yeah. Like, so they're going to release both.
And it's going to come out to own on 4K Blu-ray, and he wants it to go to theaters. He's like, he wants it to be in that setting. And for theaters, it's going to have a 10-minute intermission because it is a 4-hour movie. So
The 10-minute intermission just is Barry Allen pulling the screen away. It breaks the fourth wall, and he's like, hey, I'm talking to you guys. If right now is the time where you need to piss, you should probably do that. Do you need snacks? You should probably do that. Do you need me to run and go get you snacks? I can't because I can't travel through this. Like the all kinds of creative fucking fun,
guys, stay safe.
Shit.
Social distancing. Got a crazy world going on. No, great stuff. I'm super excited for it. We got some really cool stuff coming down the line. Feige, he is insistent Black Widow will not release to Disney Plus before theaters.
Which makes me think there has to be some sort of insanely unexplainable, massive, gigantic, shocking, mind-blowing reveal that is going to change the course of MCU again, because that's why he doesn't want it to be in a home setting, because you are going to drive people to the theater when the hype from hearing what's happening with this movie hits. Oh, we went to the theaters, saw Black Widow. There's this fucking crazy shock moment. King Conqueror showed up, warned her that she's going to die soon. And then, of course, everything that happens in Vormir, or some shit like that, some crazy moment or whatever. And then everybody's like, we got to go to sit in theaters, and then it makes $23 trillion fucking dollars or whatever it's going to do.
I don't know.
I
We'll see.
understand from a marketing standpoint what he's going for. I don't know what the end product is, but I feel like if he had, they moved WandaVision and released it sooner rather than later. It was supposed to go after Falcon and Winter Soldier, after Black Widow. So if he can release that and that's got big reveals, but he's not willing to release Black Widow, that means it's got something bigger. That's my first gut feeling.
I have a feeling it's more business oriented than creative.
Okay.
I have a feeling that it's more so in tune with. I don't know if we talked about this on the show last week. We might have talked about it. I talked about it with somebody, where we talked about how movies have been releasing and how like Trolls World Tour came out and it went directly to rental for like $20 rental for like a weekend or something, or like 24 hours, whatever it was, 48 hours.
Yep.
But the issue is that the stars of that movie, it was like Justin Timberlake and the other leading gal that plays Poppy. I don't remember her name. Their contracts to get paid, it was so much down. And then this is the way a lot of movies work. It's like, so like if you're gonna get paid $5 million to do a movie, you're gonna get paid X amount down. The rest after the movie has run its course in theaters, and we look at how much revenue we have, because then the company's gonna get all that money, count it out. Being, all right, this is the money you have to pay the stars. Boom, you got that. This is the money we had to cover our expenses for advertising. Boom, that's covered back in that pocket there. This is the X amount that we have for profit. How much was the movie profitable? And that because it did not go to theaters in the exact same way. Of course, Trolls 2 released at the height of the quarantine. That was not in the contract. If the movie got released, they didn't have to pay him. So like,
they got around paying them?
No, they. From what I understand, the stars still got paid, but they definitely raised a stink about it because it was a technicality, and the stars were not told in advance that this was going to happen, and they were wondering, hey, how are you gonna, You're gonna pay me, right?
How you resurrect my cash flow if you don't got no cash flow yourself?
Well, see, and the movie did make gangbusters because a lot of people rented it. For $20.
No one knew what was gonna happen over the course of the next year. We thought we were gonna be trapped forever.
Yeah, so like I rented it for a weekend because my oldest wanted to see it, and we watched it. We watched it once, and a pretty fun movie, but cool little. Cameo from Ozzy Osbourne in that movie. So that was fun, Basically, the whole here's dad mode now talking about Trolls. It's very music based, and they love to sing and dance. Well, then they find out that there's different realms and different genres of trolls, and so they have the rock and roll one, and she's trying to take over all the other genres, and like basically. Cut all the guitar strings or whatever, and
of course.
And her dad is Ozzy Osbourne, who is half not even aware of what's going on. He's like, rock and roll. But no, it's just a whole hubbubaloo. And of course, they did do that with Mulan, where they released on Disney Plus for a fee, but you had to be a subscriber first. So you have to subscribe to it and pay them that much money to then buy the movie for you to watch it early, which was going to go to everybody who was going to subscribe to it anyway 2 months later.
Convoluted.
Yeah, well, then it's like, Bill and Ted came out, and it did release digitally as well as in theaters. On Vudu, you didn't have to pay extra for it. You just, if you wanted the movie, you could buy the movie now. And it's like, on one hand, a lot of people want to own stuff physically. I know that for MCU stuff, I want to own it digitally. But for this in general, like for Bill and Ted, I didn't care to own it. Like, I didn't care if I had it physically. But it's just, I don't know. I get what they're doing. They're trying to save and promote theatrical releases and all that jazz. Keep it rolling. Utilize these movies that have been the cornerstone of cinematic adventures and keeping the theaters in business and keeping them rolling. But I also think that we're not out of the woods yet here, and we won't be by the time it releases. So I kind of wish they would give us the other opportunity to be able to see this movie for people who don't feel safe enough going to the theater right now. At least
I do too.
At least for this year, at least for 2021, I feel like movies should be doing this. Whether you're going to pay full price for it, $20 for it, $30 for it, like
have your option.
Have the option. Would Black Widow be on my docket to spend $30 to see it early? I don't know. If you hit me up and go, dude, there's a massive freaking reveal, you have to see this movie, then maybe I'd look at my budget and see what I could do. But would Spider-Man be on that list? Yes. Absolutely yes. Like, that would be, hey, it's going to be Christmas time. Maybe not the day it comes out, but maybe, I'll be on my, maybe I'll have like a day off for Christmas. We're going to watch this movie. And so that could be. But, it doesn't have to be free like the way WB is doing it with HBO. You can charge a couple bucks. That is the way to do it. But it just, I don't know. For this year, I think options should be on the table instead of being at like, it's only going to release here or it has to be done here. Go see it. It's like, well, then I'm going to wait. Then you're not going to get my business in that forum. I would give you money for it, but not going to the theater. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I think that you're dead on with how they should do this year. You need to be mindful. Give people the option. You're going to make more money. And I've said this before, bro. If you, on the day it drops, can say you can watch it at home, spend the money to watch it at home. Yep. You go to the theater if that's what you choose, or you could buy the Blu-ray and just have it to own right then and there. You're going to make money hand over fist because you're going to get people that want to do at least 2 of the 3. Because I know me, I'm going to want to rent it first and be like, all right, it was a good movie. I need to now own it for my collection. Let me go buy it. Like, you're going to make that profit. You're going to make the revenue. There's no doubt. I mean, again, the only reason that I can possibly think is that there has to be something massive that they're keeping that they don't want to be only revealed on the small screens. And I'm talking about TVs in your homes as opposed to being on the big theater and having that shock moment like the MCU is historically known for. Brando, we do have one last thing real fast because there was a shakeup in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Kind of hashtag fuck Gina Carano, I guess is what we're saying now. Because what she said was pretty despicable. It did not have any place because there's no accuracy to what she said. I'm not even going to repeat her exact words. If you, a listener, want to go search them out, please do. I feel justice has been served, and in a situation where you're a part of a beloved franchise that's for all inclusivity, everybody being togetherness, for you to go out and say and do something so outlandish, you deserve to be canceled. So peace outside, Gina Carano.
I didn't care about her that much. that was it for me. Like, it was just, oh, okay. So, like, the thing is that you have to think in business in terms of, especially in the world of entertainment, when your name and face is going to be out there, especially associated with such a big property, like you said, you need to be mindful of the things that you say. It's not against the rules to say your own beliefs on a matter of subject, as long as they're not offensive to other people. You know, if you want to say, I believe X, you know, this is how I think things should be, that's fine, man. Do your thing. I don't care. You know, whether I agree with you or disagree with you, you should be allowed to do that. But it's when you enter the realm of literally being offensive to a certain amount of people. I mean, even people who aren't involved can be offended by it, but you need to be careful and look at the other people within the entertainment industry, not even just with what she said, but in other aspects. You know, if you're insensitive to things that you say, whether they're racially or anything like that, you know, because that just happened with a country singer recently. I believe his name Morgan Weller. Was that his name?
No idea.
Anyway, I had no idea what his name was, but I do know a song that he does because I've heard it in the car, because I'm not the only person who controls. What do you want, Kat? We're talking about racist country music people. Anyway, no, he sings the song Whiskey Glasses. It's not a bad song. I get it, you know. It's like a tie on words. Cool, you know, little creative country song here. It's not the worst song I ever heard, not the best song either. However, he has come out and said, like, he got on videos saying a racial slur.
Ooh.
And he was called out. He was dropped from radio play. And his label dropped him.
Sweet.
And he has come out and said that was at the very end of a 72-hour bender with a lot of drinking, probably a lot of partying. And he's not proud of it. And he also called on his supporters to do not defend me.
Interesting.
It's like, don't defend me. I'm in the wrong here. It's like, I'm in the wrong. And he said that he was reached out to by a lot of, like, you know, black community groups to, like, help him. He was like, see the wrong in what he did and the hurt in his words. And he said he was a bit surprised by it, but he welcomed it. He's like, you know, it's like, you know, like, I did wrong. I said something wrong here and was unaware of how much my words can hurt other people.
Yeah.
And he goes, to all my defenders, who people out there trying to defend what I did, don't, because I was wrong. He goes, I need to go work on myself. I need to go work on my problems and get myself in a better space to make sure that I don't hurt other people. But he goes, any sort of, like, reemergence is all going to be on me and the work that I put in for that. So don't try to go to bat. So I thought that was very big. I thought that took a lot of character,
as opposed to the Gina Carano response. Yes.
Yeah. So, like, literally, I get the importance of a role of having a woman in a very powerful role. I get that. And we need that in our media. We need to show little girls that they can be powerful too, you know. But at the same time, I didn't, you know, really identify too much with her role. She was pretty minor for the show, not as important. She was there. She did some stuff. She did some things, and
some would even say she did some stuff and things.
I'm doing stuff, Lord. Anyway, when this happened, and the wording was very interesting from Lucasfilm. She is not under contract with us, and we have no plans to use her going forward.
So they didn't fire her because they're keeping her as an independent contractor, which to me sounded like them trying to say, look, we're not going to nosedive your career and say you were fired by us because you won't get hired by anybody if we fire you. But we will say that you're not under contract with us and that we're not going to go move forward with the Cara Dune spinoff series we had planned that didn't get announced. And we're not going to move forward with you as an actor. And then
the reality here is like, how much were they planning to do? Because obviously they didn't announce anything with her specifically. We know that certain characters are going forward with other things. And also, we know that, going forward with The Mandalorian, we don't know how much of the story now is going to pertain to the characters who have already been in the show. It has been hinted that the child portion of the Mandalorian story is nearly over. It could come back around later, but going forward into season 3, it's not going to be about the child, which is going to be a step away, but it's also at a point after that big ending of season 3. Now you have the breath to kind of start over a little bit. We know who, the Mandalorian is. We know who these other characters are. We know he has the Darksaber. And we know that things are probably going to come back around, but literally, Gina was not a star of the show.
just support.
And if going forward, this is a great opportunity, the perfect timing, because this didn't happen during the middle of the airing of the show. Perfect timing, because now you're at that crossroads within the story of we don't have to include her anyway. You can kind of like leave the character alone.
Mandalorian season 3. Cara flew her X-wing into a sun and died. LOL.
Well, just don't mention her again. Her part in the story was kind of over. She was this former rebel that did her thing and doing her thing over there, and that's going to be it. That saves you time and money of trying to like find another actress to play the same character, and all it's gonna do within our climate is make certain people who are already angry about it, make them mad, and the other people are like, good riddance. We didn't need there anyway. But so it's like, well, you don't need to stretch that. So, that's why the moment you said it, I just went later on. Like that's you can't say the kind of thing that she said and expect there not to be something said about it. As I said, your own words can have recourse if they can hurt other people. If you want to say, I support X, or I support this politician, or I support these views, that is fine. Do your thing. I don't care. Nobody else cares either. It's when
if you then follow it up with malicious words.
Yes, when you try to compare it to the damn near eradication of over 1 million people. No, there is no comparison. No. So that's all I got to say about that.
I guess we're ending it on that note, but that's all right. We I will say really quickly, in the Zack Snyder trailer, there was one line that I loved that was being said in the background. I think it was Alfred saying it just to kind of tie back into comics and bring us a little lighter note here to end on. But he said, when the bull is charging, you don't wave a red cape at it. And I just loved that, because when that's happening, Soups is flying and you get the red cape like in the shot too. And it was just like, oh, they're really going for it. They're really making people want to see this movie.
It seems like it's going to be a little darker, which is okay. And because that was kind of like the Snyder feel, right? So like in a way where the other version we got was a little bit in there, a little bit not. It was kind of a mixture, had some lightheartedness, which we said that we both have said, hey, that works well here to kind of lighten the mood a little bit. The more I see it, the more I'm like, no, maybe it should be more concurrent with the flow that he had set with Man of Steel, then BVS, and then this. That's like he's telling a story here, and it's all going to feel the same, kind of. And he has said that Warner Brothers is not interested in doing another film with him backing it.
Well, luckily Warner Brothers doesn't have dick all to say. It's all in HBO Max and what they want to do.
So if this movie's massively popular, which I'm not sure if it will be, let's be honest here.
We'll see.
We'll see. Well, because this movie has been championed to be finally released, and and we are getting it, and good or bad or indifferent. Salute to Zack Snyder getting to tell his vision. That's, I'm very happy that he got to do that after everything he went through in the process of making this film, and just no longer had the energy to fight the company based off of their views of what he was doing.
Well, it's got to be very, very cathartic for him to finish this now, and it being that when he was last in the process of finishing it, he had an extreme life-changing tragedy happen to him, and to be able to get back to what you were trying to focus on, that regardless of what your family situation was, could have very well been a big game changer for not just Zack Snyder, but it could have been a game changer for Warner Brothers and all this. HBO Max is the savior. They're championing this to make it happen. But Warner Brothers could have been on board had Joss never happened. And I'm sure that the next time we're together, there'll be more to talk about with Joss.
There already is, but I don't want to dive into it because we're at the end of the episode.
We're here. We don't want to get back into negative shit. All I want to say is this. I'm looking forward to the Justice League. I want to say this as well. Zack Snyder is in a position now where he has directed Batman, Superman, The Flash, Wonder Woman, possibly Green Lantern, Cyborg, Aquaman, The Comedian, Rorschach, Dr. Manhattan, Night Owl, Spectre. And why am I saying all these names? Because what if because of HBO Max and the way things are going, we get the button and start to get Doomsday Clock, and that's where Snyder heads?
That'd be cool.
Holy shit. You mutter fudders. All right, folks. Well, for this week's episode of Journey into Comics, I want to thank you guys for checking it out. As always, go on all the different podcasting platforms, like we said earlier: Amazon Music, Apple Music, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, YouTube, many others. Go onto our Facebook, like, and all that shit. Make sure to check out the journeyintocomics.com where you can get all the different shows. We got the archives up there. I need to go and update because I'm a little out of sorts, but we're working on it. Folks, I think that's going to do it. Brando, is there anything else you want to add before we go ahead and get out of here? I don't know why I lost my words there.
No.
Okay. Well, folks, I think that is going to... what's interesting, too, is Wanda kind of waved her red cape, too, in this week. So,
Yeah,
we'll just say that. So anyways, folks, for this week's episode of Journey into Comics 335, waving the red cape, I guess, I've been Nate.
I've been Brando.
And as always, we will pop our caps back and fill our brains with shit. Later, guys.